from the Graphic Arts Guild. If you're new to us, you may be familiar with our Pricing and Ethical Guidelines Handbook, this one right here. The Guild is all about community and advocacy. Check out our calendar for monthly events. Join our community. Right now, join us for an enlightening discussion on the multifaceted utility of design as we explore its power to unite people and promote cross-cultural understanding. Learn from our panelists' experiences and embrace the idea that design is more than just aesthetics. Join us for a thought-provoking discussion on #DesignIsMore. Now, here's Rebecca Blake, our advocacy liaison, to make introductions. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hi, Ed.
I would first like to introduce Terrence Moline. Terrence Moline lives by design. He resides at the corner of marketing and art by utilizing his skills to create identities, communities, and communication. With 25 plus years of industry dedication, his illustration, strategy, and design have helped raise the profile of community causes and educational organizations. Terrence is also the founder and head listener at African American Graphic Designers, AAGD.co, the largest collective of African American Black designers who collaborate while growing as a family. Welcome, Terrence.
It is a pleasure, Rebecca. I need to shorten that.
No, that's perfect.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Our next panelist is Unique Yazzie. Unique, a member of the Guild, is a Navajo designer from Phoenix, Arizona, with over 21 years of experience. She's an artist, poet, and storyteller with a passion for social impact design. Unique is involved in several organizations, including Mujeres del Sol, Roosevelt Row CDC, Cahokia Social Tech, and Artspace, and Indige Design Collab. Her work focuses on placemaking and placekeeping, and she's a skilled workshop facilitator, speaker, and art curator. Unique is now pivoting towards tech and currently works as creative consultant and senior application analyst with a focus on content supply chain strategy, design systems, collaboration, and indigenizing space. Hello, Unique.
Hello, Yate. Nice to be here.
Great to have you. And our last panelist is Bill Gardner. Bill Gardner, owner of Gardner Design, leads a branding team known for award-winning results with industry giants like Google, NFL, and Cargill. As LogoLounge.com founder, a huge fan of Logo Lounge, he authored 13 best-selling Logo Lounge books and writes the Logo Trend Report. Bill is an AIGA Fellow Award recipient and a LinkedIn Learning presenter on branding. He also served as a territorial VP for the International Brotherhood of Magicians. Welcome, Bill. Let's do some magic.
Sweet. I'm going to have you travel in front of me everywhere.
So I would love to dive into our first question. And I would like to direct this question towards Unique. Unique, how can designers balance the need to create aesthetically pleasing designs with the responsibility to promote messages of social and environmental responsibility?
So I thank you so much. I love this question because it really dives into the work that I do. I think aesthetics are always, top priority because we want things to look good, right, as designers. But creating positive change in the world really starts with creating ideas. And when those ideas come from understanding messages that pertain to different communities, different lifestyles, different impacts, right, of solutions that have to incorporate visuals that appeal to certain audiences, I think one of the best ways for this to happen is to begin to understand how we can start to collaborate as designers and as creatives. Because one thing that I think often gets either misappropriated or shifted in the discussion is that the true understanding comes from experience of social impact issues and environmental impact issues, and those subjects that align. And people live these daily. They live these impacts. And when you begin to collaborate with other designers or other artists, maybe people that don't normally get the light of day or are emerging artists, and they begin to tell their story to you, and you begin to collaborate and incorporate them into the work that you're doing, you really begin to learn and also amplify messages that you would not have known about earlier. I think one of the things is just being responsible to in connecting the dots equitably, right? And not just speaking on behalf of communities or for communities because you were hired to do so. I think it's our responsibility to reach out to others and make sure that they are being incorporated and they're being heard. Obviously the other thing is like practice what you preach, right? Like if you are somebody that is of social impact design or some sort of like taking environmental responsibility, show that in how you create your work. I think there's a lot of tools out there that allow us to storytell, and so when you start telling and incorporating that into like, hey, this is how I created my design, but it's also using, you know, this something that aligns to saving resources, add that in, like add that as part of the story, and then connect that to how you learned how to do that, because I'm sure you didn't just come up with the idea, right? Like it came from somewhere else, and you can also share that. And so it's just really how we're connecting those dots.
That's great. Terrence, as founder of AAGD, I imagine you've got a lot of thoughts to add to this.
Balancing the need to do social work, or I actually find that it's not. For me, it's not a balance. This is the correct question, right? I just want to make sure. Yeah. For me, it's not a balance. It's a choice. And it's a choice that you have to make early, and you're going to have to make sacrifices for it. And you're going to have to release this idea, at least for me, that you are working strictly for capital, and that there are other ways for you to enrich and enliven other people's lives. And you just have to make that choice, because there are not enough of us making that choice. And as creative people, we should be leading how society interacts with each other, how society views things. And it's just, for me, it's a calling. There is no balance. And I'm really happy about that, because at the end of the day, I go to sleep, knowing that I've made a difference, at least in my little small part of the world. And I also wanted to say that I thought I was going to have the best shirt on, but clearly I was wrong, because Bill, that is an amazing shirt.
Terrence, I love the way you kind of put the question back on the designer, focusing a little bit on our responsibility and the choices we make. I'd love to direct the next question to Bill. What design techniques or strategies that you've seen that have been most effective in promoting sustainability and ethical practices in design?
And because all of us, and by the way, Terrence, you need great answers on both of those. When we started taking a look at the kind of questions that we were going to be talking about here, I realized there are a lot of commonalities in those. And I think I'm going to hit this here, because I will say that I don't have a particular advocacy. I don't have one direction that I advocate towards, but I want to be a tremendous steward of the environment, of culture, of individuality, of diversity. And I have the unique responsibility of dealing with millions and millions and millions of audacious dollars. They're not mine, they're my clients. And they have a lot of money to spend. And when they come to us, I feel like I can do a better job of promoting anything that is better for this planet by being informed and being able to direct those client dollars in the direction that they need to go. So, I mean, I'm a capitalist. We design, and we design for money, and I have personal, advocacies as well. But in general, my focus is being that good steward by being able to educate those clients that we work with and driving them towards solutions that are going to have a greater impact.
I see both Unique and Terrence nodding their heads. Would either one of you like to add on to this?
I would, but I'll let Unique go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, I think it is definitely a responsibility for designers as we enter spaces that, have certain value points, certain alignments. And in order for us to connect those dots, we have to communicate the needs that exist within different communities. And if you're not involved in any of these communities, there's ways that you can make connections by these panels, right? Creating events, creating things where people come together and learn from one another. And there's other ways to design things that happen in the community. It doesn't always have to be something printed or something that's digital. There's other ways to incorporate those solutions.
Terrence?
Yes. I really like what Bill said about being stewards. You know, that's something that when you kept saying it, I was like, yeah, we are stewards of people's money, their ideas, their precious memories sometimes that are encapsulated in the design that we do. And so if we think of ourselves as people who do a service to humanity, you know, while we are making money, I think that's a better focus for us. And I'm not so sure that schools and institutions teach that as much as they should.
That leads me right into our next question, which I would like to direct towards Unique. Can you speak to the importance of considering the impact of design on the environment and society when creating design solutions?
Yeah, so my work really pertains to impact in a way that leads to social change. And the way that I do that is through collaboration. It's my collaboration is the best tool that I've learned. And I've really dove into understanding why is cooperation masked so well as collaboration, right? Because when you're designing for something and you're being hired by a company, you have to align to their values, their rules, their principles, and your viewpoint doesn't necessarily get to be integrated into that. True collaboration means that you step in and your viewpoint and your experience and your background is then incorporated into the solution that the company needs, right? Or that group needs. And so you do it collectively and you create solutions together rather than for. And so one of the things I think that I use, especially in like teaching and really understanding strategies, is sharing with people that there are different ways of thinking, different ways of experiencing things. And as Indigenous people, we see the world, we often say that we live in two worlds. And the way that I explain that to people is that the westernized systems are very linear. They have a 1, 2, 3 step approach, and it's like the American dream, right? There's things that you do before you have to get to the end point, and there's an ultimate end point. Whereas Indigenous people see things very circularly. We always will have problems, right, as humanity. And our goal is to understand these problems for ourselves and for our communities, and to make sure that when we're propelling forward in a circular motion, that we are trying to create and prototype ideas that will bring about solutions that have an ecosystem around them, that have some sort of support to the environments that we're in. And so you're incorporating culture, you're incorporating story, you're incorporating all these facets that involve a certain group of people. And so when you come to that point of solving a problem, you then know that that problem is it's not necessarily going to go away, but you made it easier, right, for this community to live through or to eat or to communicate. And so for me, it's just really making sure that people understand that there is a dichotomy of like, the different ways of thought process and arriving at solutions. There are multiple ways of system thinking, and that it's not just one way. And so that's the starting point. And then it kind of leads into the other ways of how I create those strategies.
So, Bill, you're coming at this again from a different angle, and particularly with that focus on brand identity through Logo Lounge. What can you say about the importance of considering the impact of design on environment and society in creating those identities?
Let me address it from maybe this perspective. So, again, looking at what Unique just shared, which I love, by the way, and I love her passion and her perspective and way to maybe approach this. But I don't have the luxury of approaching it from an individual perspective. I approach it from a team perspective of my clients are the team. And I think that identity designers in general, and keep in mind that I mean, you're talking about a broad spectrum of everybody from somebody sitting on their kitchen table designing something for a client to somebody in one of the very largest brand identity firms, that utilizes Logo Lounge. So you're looking at very large projects and very small projects. I know that Gardner Design, my own firm right now, is involved in everything from helping develop a groundbreaking campus for the homeless and indigent population here, helping a health core clinic develop a brand to help with one of the largest health deserts in the U.S. with one of the highest infant mortality rate issues, and to help lift them up so they can bring services, to train another organization that educates individuals with any mental or physical disabilities to allow them to be able to live on their own. And I mean, we can go on and on, but these are all clients that come to us that have a really significant mission. And it's what we can offer them as part of that branding that helps them think about these ideas that Unique was just discussing, or that Terrence was just discussing, that open their mind to greater diversity, or that open their minds to greater responsibility to the environment as part of the process. So again, I think I look at it from more the matter of I'm part of this team of people, and I'm going to introduce these ideas as a designer that maybe they had.
May I add something or ask a question, please?
Sure, absolutely.
So, Bill, you're saying more or less that you're a conduit, but you're being very selective about the clients that you're interacting with to make sure that you're aligning yourself with clients who are planning on impacting the world in a positive way.
Terrence, I wish that was the case, because we literally have hundreds of clients, and I would love to tell you that but one of the dirty little secrets about marketing is that we operate on assumptions. We know that every client isn't going to have the opportunity to vet every decision they make, that many of them are going to be based off of assumptions. And in branding especially, it is about being able to cast the proper assumptions to those people that they're trying to reach. And if you think about this, I would be willing to bet that very few people in marketing really know everything about all of their clients. They may be manufacturing something that uses a carcinogenic material in part of the process. They don't know that, because we haven't had that opportunity to investigate every aspect of it. But what we can do is introduce and interject into their businesses those ideas and open their mind to those ideas that are going to be better for the world, better for society.
That's brilliant. We have 1 minute left. Terrence, in 1 minute, what ways can designers use their skills and platforms to advocate for and effect positive change in the world?
Speak up, donate your time, to causes that you believe in. That is the two best ways to do that.
I love that. I love ending on that note. Guys, Unique, Bill, Terrence, this has been a great discussion on design, ! Thank you for joining us for International Day of Design. Let's go celebrate.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone.